Squad homies, what's up? Y'all voted on another viewer's choice topic. We are going to go over Ahmaud Arbery and the Kyle Rittenhouse case updates. The biggest thing with the Kyle Rittenhouse is obviously the whole crying face meme that's kind of been it's kind of been floating around quite a bit. He's going to tell his own story, and he just lets it all out in a very embarrassing display of emotion, I guess. Fake emotion. And then I guess his mom was crying too, and I don't think it was any better.
You know what? I would be scared too. If I drove 2 states over with a gun that I wasn't supposed to have, that I had somebody buy for me, and got into some shit and ended up killing a couple people, I would be scared as fuck too. I'd be scared as shit too. So I was doing something and I shouldn't have been doing with some shit that I shouldn't have had. Period.
Place I shouldn't have been.
If there's one thing that I feel like the prosecution is getting away from, is just attacking the point that Kyle Rittenhouse was here when he didn't need to be, when he was never obligated to be, when no one called upon his duty to do so, with a weapon that he was never legally allowed to possess in his home state. Stick to those facts. Like they're getting into the weeds of, what was reasonable in terms of, him shooting Rosenbaum. I'm sorry if I messed up the name there, and the other victim. And I feel like they're giving the defense an opportunity to poke holes into their argument. Focus on the fact that he should have never been there. Focus on the fact that he had an illegal firearm while he was there, right? Like they're getting very far away from their best argument, which is Kyle Rittenhouse didn't have to be there doing what he did, right? And I just don't think they're really going at it. At least from my estimation. I'm not a lawyer, but that's just what I see.
Yeah. Also, the fucking judge seems to be really yucking it up for, like you said, for the cameras.
Yeah, he's one of those celebrity guys. He got a high profile case, and he wants to make a name for himself now. Probably try to, be up for some district federal courts or something like that, federal appellate courts, or maybe even Supreme Court one day. So he's posturing, right? Because it has a national profile. And he's just going out of his way to insert himself into this trial in any way he can.
Yeah. It's just weird when, like, the clips that I see of him, there's one clip of him telling a joke about the Asian food.
Yeah.
And then there's one clip I seen of him explaining his lack of tech awareness and using his phone.
No, he's hot dogging it. He's definitely
hot
dogging it. Giving these long lambasting, speeches and talking down to the prosecution and scolding him and stuff like that. Like it's all very dramatic. It's all very Law and Order. I don't know, man. In the case of Rittenhouse, I hate to say it, y'all, but I think he's gonna get off. I think Rittenhouse is getting off. He already has the fact that, one of the individuals that he shot attacked him. There's video evidence of the individual running towards Rittenhouse. So he already has that in his pocket. And then the prosecution in this case just is hyper focused on those situations and those personal interactions more so than what led up to those situations coming about. And I feel like that's where my mind is at. Right, so I can only imagine where a juror's head is with all of this. Not to mention the judge clearly swaying in the defense's favor. It's not even a question at this point. He has been very, 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 let's say, preferential to the defense's arguments and motions and things of that nature. So I think he's going to get off. He may not beat all charges. I don't see how he gets around, purchasing the firearm through someone else. That's pretty clear cut is his day. And then, I don't think he's allowed to take it over state lines either. So that's going to stick. But in terms of the murder charges, I don't see it sticking.
Okay. Well, I think jury begins deliberations next week.
Yep.
Or the upcoming week.
Which that trial moves so quick in comparison to this Ahmaud Arbery trial.
Yeah.
It moves so fast.
Yeah, with the Ahmaud Arbery case, I think they spoke with first responders, and then they spoke with neighbors, and then the owner of the house being worked on or being built that he passed through. Any thoughts on that?
So the first thing that stood out to me is exactly why it took so long to get jurors for this case. And the reason, or the thing that stuck out was when the officer showed up to the scene, right? And instead of checking on Ahmaud, administering, any life-saving care or anything like that, I don't even know why that's not a question. Why they're not questioning him, why he didn't apply any type of life rescuing care to him. They begin to have a calm conversations with the white individuals over what happened and accepting their framing over it. And these men weren't immediately arrested or detained, right? He immediately accepted their framing of the situation. Black man dead in the middle of the fucking street. And you are capitulating to these men in their framing of the situation. That right there perfectly encapsulates the situation that the prosecution was in when selecting potential jurors for this case. Because if that's what the police are doing, if that's what the authorities in the area are doing, come on, man. Another thing that was the defense is working hard to try to establish that, they were making a citizen's arrest and they had reason to believe that Ahmaud was a threat to the community. When it first started, I don't feel like the prosecution did a good job of humanizing Ahmaud, of like making him a person, like explaining to people that this was just a young man walking through a neighborhood, as ordinary as your son, your nephew, your father, your brother, right? That's not how they went about it at first. I think they got there eventually with some of the other lawyers. The homeowner of the house that Ahmaud was walking through showed videos of several people, white and black, old and young, walking through this house at all times of the night. Some people taking things, but Ahmaud never taking anything. Never taking a thing. Or the man that they suspect to be Ahmaud never taking anything. So that part, I feel like, put it in proper perspective to what it is that he was doing while he was out there, why he was there, right? That we don't have to sit up here and guess and point to it and speculate that he was doing something that he wasn't, because we can see what exactly he was doing while he was out there in those neighborhoods by that houses. We have evidence of it. If he was out there to steal, then he would have stole that night too. If that's even him on the fucking camera. Ahmaud wasn't found with a weapon. He wasn't found with any stolen goods. There were no reported break-ins that happened in that area. These men had no right or any reason to suspect that he was a burglar. They assumed because he was black. They even talked about how they said that when he was telling the fucking cop that they pinned him like a rat. How do you pin someone like a rat in self-defense? How do you capture someone and eliminate their route of escape in self-defense? Because limiting someone's route of escape implies that you have control. Control is not an element, or it is an element in self-defense, and that's where it stops. Self-defense ends at control. So the fact that y'all cornered this man and then shot him, how could you possibly claim self-defense? At the point of you cornering him, you have officially made your citizen's arrest. If you even have the right to do it, even if it's even lawful. But let's say for argument's sake it is. At the point of you trapping him, you have made your citizen's arrest. So now you should call the police and sit. But you took it a point to confront this man with a weapon, and in the dash of him trying to save his own life, you killed him. That's not self-defense.
At all.
Ahmaud Arbery was not a threat to you or anyone in that community at the time of his murder. So hopefully they do a better job of hammering that point home than the prosecution in Wisconsin, because my optimism for either of these cases are on opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm still not very optimistic about Ahmaud Arbery, but I'm much more so towards the positive end than with Kyle Rittenhouse. Mm-hmm. But yeah, here you go, Mr. All Black People Lookalike. Like, oh my God, I thought we graduated past like the tropey black people thing. Look yeah, like Jesus Christ, Reverend Barber and Al Sharpton look nothing alike, y'all. Like if fucking Big Show and Rey Mysterio got mistaken for each other. Is basically what we're looking at right here. Calls it out. Oh, so we have the Reverend Al Sharpton in the back. Where? Point to him. Show me where he at. So he mistakes Reverend Barber for Al Sharpton, and then goes on and says that we can't just have any old black pastor coming into the courtroom influencing the jury, with a jury in which only one of the jurors is black. So what's undue influence are we talking about here? There's one black juror out of 12. What are we talking about, fam? The gall to even have the confidence to say that in front of a courtroom full of black people, a mother who lost her son, a black mother, you know, just the tragedy in that room, and to just say that shit, it's just like it doesn't change. Right? The attitude remains the same. And until there's some real stakes to people having these attitudes and taking these kind of actions, until there are some real consequences that people have to pay for shit like this, the attitude will persist. It's present in the case. It's present in the way the case is being covered. It's present in the defense. It's present all up and through both of these situations. Just a disregard for human life, for sure.
Hey, where y'all going? Where y'all going?
Give us your thoughts on the Ahmaud Arbery and Kyle Rittenhouse trials down below. Any updates you think we might have missed, let us know.
Make sure to subscribe to join the squad and make your voice heard in the poll every Saturday.